Hey Hofstra fans, welcome inside the W. Mason Coaches Report here on GoHofstra.com. I'm Tom Brady, joined by the head coach of the Hofstra wrestling team, Rob Anspach. Coach, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Now, Coach, coming off a CAA championship tournament this weekend, and your team wound up coming in first place, 88.5 points, 2 points ahead of Binghamton. Tell me about the first CAA title. Obviously, you were the head coach.
I think it was a great team victory. From 125 pounds up to heavyweight, everybody really contributed. Wrestled well overall as a team. Put 6 guys in the finals, which was more than any other team. We had 4 individual champions, which was more than any other team, and 8 place winners. So just overall, it was a great job by the team. They wrestled hard, they wrestled well, and they deserved the championship.
And for you, what did it mean in your first season to continue that Hofstra tradition of winning the CAA title?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. Anytime you do anything, it's nice. And we've had a pretty solid tradition here of winning CAA championships. So I didn't want to come in here and do anything to upset that. So for me, it was a great way to just continue what has been laid before me. With Tom Ryan and Tom Shiflett, and just kind of continue that tradition and keep moving forward. That it's just letting people in Long Island, letting the Hofstra wrestling community know that nothing's really changing. We still expect the same thing, and we're going to go out there and produce the same results.
Let's start taking a look at some of your wrestlers. 125 pounds, Steve Bonanno. We talked about it last week. Only 1 spot automatic for the NCAAs, and he winds up getting a pair of major decisions en route to winning the tournament, and now he'll go to the NCAAs.
Yeah, Steve did an outstanding job, just really continuing what he had done all year long, going out there and getting takedowns and scoring back points, and just really dominating his opponents. I don't think he gave up a point the tournament. I think it was an 8-0 and a 9-0 victory. So just really did a great job for us, as he had done all year. We expected that from him. He was the #1 seed, and he went out there and proved why this weekend.
At 133, Jamie Franco wound up getting a couple of wins, making it to the finals before falling in a close match to Scott Festejo, but 2 qualifying spots for 133 pounds, so he'll also be going to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, Jamie, did a nice job in his first 2 matches, wrestling the whole time. Just he wrestled. First round match, we had the kid from Binghamton again who had beaten us in the dual meet, so that was a very tense match, and we knew with the team race it was going to be a very that was going to be one of the deciding matches. So Jamie going out there getting that victory was great to start the tournament off. He avenged another loss in the semifinals to Sam Tate from Boston. He did an outstanding job in the top position in that match. I would have liked to see him finish the tournament off a little bit better. I felt that when Jamie's gotten into trouble is when he gets a lead and then tries to sit on it, and I felt that's what he kind of did in the finals, and it came back to hurt him. Lose a 4-3 match in the finals over a kid that I think we can beat. He has beaten him before. He beat him earlier in the year, so I would like to see him come away with that conference title to help him keep that momentum going into the national tournament. But I think he looked at it. He knows what he did wrong, and he sees it. It's another time when we go, hey, we can pinpoint the times when he loses. It's because he stops wrestling. So hopefully, he can make those adjustments before we get out to the national tournament, and I expect him to have a good NCAAs.
It didn't take long for your team to get their next CAA title, 141 pounds. Luke Bite winds up coming up with a very strong performance and taking another one for your team.
Yeah, Luke's done a nice job all year long, and he's starting to get that recognition that we had talked about that he deserved. And so, he pretty much controlled everybody. He wrestled the whole tournament, very solid. It wasn't like huge scores. He didn't win by a lot, but he was never really threatened. He just really dominated from the start of the match to the finish of the match. It was a great way to finish the CAA tournament and his year, and now we look forward to him going out to the Nationals. He probably will be unseeded, but he's going to be a bad first-round draw for somebody, one of those top 12 seeds and stuff, so or top 13 actually this year. So people aren't going to have a good time wrestling him.
At 149 pounds, Justin Accordino had a strong start to the day, wound up getting all the way to the finals before dropping a tough match to Donnie Vincent. What did you see from that match, and still a strong day from Justin? He'll be going to the tournament.
Yeah, Justin, top 2 are going at that weight class. First match, he gets a major decision, which when you look at how close the team race was, all those small, major decisions and pins and stuff like that really helped us out. And so he did a great job starting the tournament off. Semifinals match was, against the defending conference champion. We had beaten him during the year, so we felt pretty good. But, Justin really wrestled well and had a pretty commanding 7-2 victory in that match. So, he was wrestling well at that point in time. We got to the finals, And, we did not have as good of a performance against Vincent. We just wrestled in Vincent's positions way too often. We weren't attacking him. We were trying to wrestle upper body. And, Vincent's one of those guys who is a Greco All-American. So those are the positions you don't want to be with him in. And we just really allowed him to dictate the match. And if we want to beat him, which we're capable of doing, we have to control the tie-ups more. We have to get more offensive and get more leg attacks. And we just didn't do a very good job of that in the finals. But, at the end of the day, he qualified for nationals. So we're starting over again. Everybody's 0-0, and he's another guy that is not going to be a good first-round draw for somebody.
At 157 pounds, Tyler ranks one of the few wrestlers who didn't earn a win for your team at the tournament. His season's now over. What did you think overall on Tyler's season?
Yeah, I thought Tyler, although he had a first-round bye as the fourth seed, and he had Lister right away. He was one of the best kids in the country, and he went out there and he wrestled well. He gave up 5 points really early, and then that was really the rest of the scoring. I thought he controlled the rest of the match. The problem is when you fall behind 5-0 to a high-caliber guy, you're going to have a hard time coming back. And he couldn't really just close the gap, and he couldn't really get into scoring opportunities. So it was difficult for him there. His next match was against the kid Santiago from Ryder. We had plenty of scoring opportunities. We just didn't capitalize on them. We made a mistake in overtime. It wasn't a bad performance by Tyler. Definitely some matches he could have won. I feel if he could have won that match, we get in there for third and fourth, and he could have been on that bubble of maybe placing to go to the national tournament. But unfortunately, we didn't get that done. And he's got to start looking, reevaluating what he did all season long, and start making those corrections to make sure that this doesn't happen next year.
At 165, we spoke last week, maybe one of the deepest classes in the CAA, a lot of good wrestlers, and as PJ Gillespie goes to the final against Tristan Warner, he winds up getting the win, takes home his second title, and now he'll be going to the NCAAs.
Yeah, PJ did a nice job. Again, we were kind of unfortunate with the way the draws came out, that we had a lot of buys and stuff, and PJ was one of those guys that had a buy. So his first match was against the kid Kaler, who's was a very good kid, ranked in the country and stuff like that. And we were losing going into the third period, and PJ did a nice job getting the takedown and riding the guy out. I thought we kind of got a little bit of a ridiculous stall call in the match with like 5 seconds left to send it to overtime. But he kept his composure. He didn't lose his mind. I pretty much did, but he didn't, and he went out there, got the takedown to secure the win and move on in the finals. And then once he was in the finals, he had just a very controlled match against Warner. The kid's a little goofy. He was the one, he caught us for a 5-point move in the dual meet, that kind of beat us. So we were a little cautious out there. So what we did was just control the match, stayed in our positions, and really just dominated the match. It wasn't like a huge score. I think it was 4-0, but he wasn't ever close to scoring. So it was just a great job by PJ all day.
174 pounds, Jermaine John. He lost his first match, then he picked up a pair of major decisions in the consolation bracket before falling, getting pinned in the third place match. Talk about Jermaine's season and also how important it was to get a couple of wins in the consolation for your team standing.
Yeah, I mean, Jermaine was, excluding the third and fourth place match, wrestled the best I'd seen him wrestle all year, and it was a great time for him. He got taken down in the first round match against the number 2 seed who ended up making the finals. He got taken down about 5 seconds left to lose 3-1. It was really a heartbreaking match, and a match where we were really dominating and controlling and taking all the shots. I thought, if it went to overtime, I thought we were going to pull it out. Unfortunately, we got taken down right at the edge and right at the end of time, so that was pretty upsetting. But again, then exactly what you said, he comes back, he gets a major decision. His next match, he gets another major decision. Those 2 points were part of it that helped us win that tournament. And he was really wrestling well. He was aggressive. He was wrestling well on top. I felt really good going into the third and fourth place match, and we just did not perform in that match. And it was, I think he got caught in a position, and it flustered him. And unlike PJ, who was able to keep his composure and wrestle through it, Jermaine didn't, and he got caught in a cradle and pinned really quickly. So we didn't even get really into the match. It was 55 seconds. The match was started and done. So it was a tough way to end the season for him. I think one of the things he can take away from is when he was going out there and listening to us. He was winning matches. He was putting up a lot of points, and when he doesn't listen to us and he tries to hang out, he gets beat. So we need to keep working on him. We got to keep his confidence up and look throughout the season at the good points of his year. And when he was wrestling well, and get him to start doing that a lot more than he did this past year.
Moving on to 184 pounds, Ben Clymer, one of your most impressive wrestlers all year, winds up going to the final, facing Nate Scheidel of Binghamton, another big match in terms of the standings for your team, and he winds up getting the win, getting the title. Only gave up 2 points, I believe it was the whole day, so another, I guess, typical day for the season for Ben Clymer.
Yeah, he did an outstanding job this weekend wrestling and just really kind of dominating everybody he wrestled. And especially in the finals, this was a match that every time they wrestled was a 1-point match, and for him to win 6-0 and really control it, I think he just, that kid right now just doesn't really have any idea how to beat Ben. So every time they've been wrestling, they've been changing their strategy, and obviously this one didn't work. They went out and they tried to be aggressive right away and took some shots, and we hit a great reshot and got on top early and then rode him out and then got another takedown. Once we had the lead, it forced him to have to open up even more, so we were able to do a lot of counter wrestling. And Ben, as he's done all season long, really wrestling well on top. And he continued to do that. I think he had like 4.5, 5 minutes of riding time. So just a dominant performance against a kid that's pretty good. So Ben's really wrestling well. It's a great time for him to be wrestling well. I expect him to be seated somewhere. I don't know exactly where he's going to get a seed, but I think he'll kind of be in the lower, anywhere from 10 to 13. But it's nice because then you guarantee yourself that you're going to have a match against an unseeded guy first round, and then you go from there. You take it one match at a time because you don't know what everybody else is going to do. So, but it's nice to open up with a guy that is not going to be seeded and put yourself in a good position to get on that podium.
197 pounds, Tim Murphy. Wound up trapping a couple of matches at the tournament. His season now going to be over. Your final thoughts on Tim Murphy in the season he had?
Yeah, Tim, he goes out there and he competes and he wrestles hard every time. He just needs to get better at a couple positions. He needs to take some more shots. And right now when he does shoot, he dives in a lot. And we need to get him lowering his level. And really his mat wrestling needs to improve a great deal before next year if he wants to be a member of the program that's contributing, to our wins and stuff like that. So, I can't fault his effort. He goes out there and he gives everything he can all the time. But what I need him to do is concentrate more and come in a little bit more and get better technically. And if he does those things, he can be a contributing factor in this program.
Moving on to heavyweight, Paul Snyder got a win in his first match, then dropped a tough 1-point decision to Kyle Fry, number 1 seeded from Drexel. Winds up eventually making the 3rd place match again, and he drops another tough 1-point decision and winds up finishing just outside of 3rd, which was the 3 allocation spots. So right now Paul kind of on the bubble. And what are your thoughts on Paul and the day at the tournament?
I think Paul, he needs to go out there and wrestle a little bit more aggressively. I don't think he was going out there to win the matches in the first period. He was kind of hanging out in the first period. In the match with Fry, that's what he was doing. He wasn't being aggressive enough to get to Fry's legs and secure a takedown to get him into the finals. And when you do those things, you have a chance to lose, and that's what happened in that match. His next match, he did a great job wrestling the whole time. He kept wrestling and wrestling, and ended up getting a fall for us in that match, which obviously again was one of the bonus points that helped us win the title. And then for 3rd and 4th. He took the first period, and again, he just wasn't attacking, and then in the 3rd period, he's in on a couple single legs that he doesn't finish. So it was a little frustrating that we were in there and not able to secure that takedown that would have guaranteed him a spot to nationals, and now we're in a situation where they're voting tonight to see whether or not he's going to go to the national tournament. He has a chance. He has some solid wins over guys that are going to be at the tournament. I think he deserves to be there, but anytime you're putting it into somebody else's hands, you just don't know what's going to happen. So, it's a very uneasy time for Paul as well as the coach to see if we're going to have 6 guys out there or 7 guys. So hoping for the best, and we'll see what happens.
So the one thing coming up now on the schedule, March 15th, 16th, and 17th, Nationals down in St. Louis. Just your quick thoughts about sending 6 guys to Nationals and the work your team's going to be putting in from now until then.
Yeah, obviously it's great to send 6 guys out there. It'll be better if we get the 7th one. Yeah. But the guys just really need to keep working on the things that they're gonna wrestle on. And you can maybe add a thing or 2 right now, but we don't want to be really doing anything that we don't want to get away from anything that's got us to this point at this time of the year. We're just really kind of fine tuning, make sure they're in shape, or make sure they're ready, make sure they're not too beat up, and get out of this week healthy. This is going to be a hard training week, and then we'll start to ease off next week and just really prepare for the NCAAs. Going out there to bring home some hardware. I mean, that's the whole point of going out there. That's why we wrestled the last 4 months, is to get to this point. We're prepared, we're ready to wrestle, and now we just need to go out there and compete. And I think it'll be nice for guys like PJ and Bonanno and Clymer, who have that experience already, and Justin, although 3 years ago now, but he's been out there. And for Jamie and Luke, this is their first experience out there, so going to kind of talk to them about the moment and the opportunity, because you don't know what's going to happen next year. So seize the opportunity and don't let it overwhelm you when you step out on that mat and there's 8 mats going on and 17, 18,000 people in the stands. Is going to be the most they've ever wrestled in front of. So you got to keep your composure, and you got to go out there and do the things that has gotten you to this point. So that's what we'll just talk about a lot, making sure that their minds are ready and right to go out there.
All right, Rob Anspach, head coach of the Hofstra wrestling team. Thanks for joining us inside the W. Mason Coaches Report here on GoHofstra.com.
Thank you.